What's going on, Lead Gen Beast? Matty Ice here, Leads for Locals. Got a really cool video for you today. I am really excited to do this. Been looking forward to it for a while. There is a new program called Capstone Plus that is just absolutely insane. I'm calling it ERC on steroids, ERC 2.0. So if you've sold ERC before, you know that by now that program has kind of fallen by the wayside. I know a lot of people did really good with it. It was really beneficial for business owners as well. But Capstone Plus is like ERC on steroids. And so if you've done ERC before, or if you're a business owner or you work with business owners that have W-2 full-time employees, you're definitely going to want to watch this video to the end, because this is just an incredible opportunity to make a massive impact on businesses and also build monthly recurring revenue. So if you remember with the ERC tax credit program, you had to wait 9, 12 months, whatever, for the IRS to finally send the check to the business owner, and then you get paid that one-time commission. That was great, but then the deal was kind of done after that. So you had to wait a long time, and you only got paid once. Well, with Capstone Plus, it's like ERC 2.0, ERC on steroids, because we're able to, it's a much faster process helping business owners. And basically what we're doing is helping them significantly reduce their annual payroll taxes. But the benefit for you as the business or the person helping them is that you can build monthly recurring revenue. You get paid upwards of $10. Actually, it can be more depending on how many employees you have enrolled in the program, but you get paid $10 per month per W-2 employee that's enrolled in the program. So we're talking, if you enroll a company with 1,000 employees, you're making $10 per month per employee. As long as the company's enrolled, as long as the employees are enrolled, that's $10,000 a month in recurring revenue by helping business owners take advantage of tax codes, basically, is what we're doing here, right? So I want to share this opportunity with you guys because I know a lot of you had a lot of success with the ERC tax credit program. We did a bunch of training on that. So that's what I want to do with this video. And to help bring us through tell us about the program, I have Jeremiah here from Capstone. Really appreciate your time. And I've been looking forward to this for a long time, man. So I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's an honor to be on your channel. And hi, everyone. I love what you said about this being ERC on steroids, because I think if you're watching this video right now, you're looking for ways to build up not just extra income, but this is residual income. So if it's cool with you, Matt, I'm going to bring up my screen and we'll walk through this program. For the record, there's two programs that Capstone offers. One is called Plus, one is called Choice. I'll talk about the differences later, but for the sake of ease and how you'd get in the door with this deal, I'll just go with Plus.
Sounds good. And just so you guys know, I'm going to timestamp everything down below because we're going to be covering a lot of different topics here. Jeremiah's going to go through how basically we're going to be talking about giving an overview of the program and how it works, some of the tax codes, the impact on businesses. So we'll show a couple of examples of how impactful this is to business owners. Like if you guys really want to make a difference in a business, this is absolutely a program that you want to be offering to people. We'll probably touch on the Amaze app a little bit. That's the technology behind the program. Process from start to finish, the ability to use market directors inside of the company where they actually do the presentations for you. So really your job is introducing the program. You're going to shepherd the client, the business owner through the process. You want to be on the calls, but they actually do the presentations for you, do all the back end work for you, just like with the ERC tax credit companies. We work with Bottom Line Concept. They did very similar. We'll talk about the compensation and then some resources and mentorship programs that you guys can be a part of. If this is something that you're interested in doing, I'm going to have links down below. You can fill out the form and just sign up if you want. There's no cost to join. All right. Or if you want to have a conversation first, I'll have my calendar down below and we can go into more details, make sure it's a good fit for you. So just make sure you check that out. But yeah, Jeremiah, if you want to go ahead and pull it up, get started. Let's rock and roll. Let's start with how the program works and just do an overview.
Sounds good. So here's the headlines, right? How do you get in the door? Well, basically what this program does is it gives $400 to $700 in FICA deduction per employee per year. Employees get anywhere from $100 up to $170 in each monthly paycheck. They get 3 wellness benefits, and all of this is at no net cost to employees or employers. And really what's in it for you, as Matt was alluding to, if you make referrals of companies that implement this, you can get anywhere from $2.50 to $20 per employee per month residual for the life of the client. You start doing the math on this, companies with 50 employees, 100 employees, 1,000 employees. We've got companies now ranging from 14 employees all the way up to 250,000 employees that are being deployed right now. You can just do the math on that, start doing the numbers, and you can see how lucrative this can be.
Yeah, it's insane.
One of the things that people love about this is you don't have to be really experienced. I'm going to go over a couple of things here in this presentation today related to the tax codes we use, how it works in the paycheck. Usually, I mean, frankly, this took me a few months to kind of really get right, but you don't have to be good at this because Capstone has a whole done-for-you program. They'll do the presentations you're about to see. They'll do the data extractions. They'll create the proposals. They'll do the presentations. They'll enroll the client. What we're really being paid to do is shepherd the client from presentation to enrollment. So think about the business owners that you know, your friends, perhaps colleagues or current clients that have businesses. You're basically being paid to bring them to the opportunity and to help make sure that the deal closes. And by the way, if you're watching this video right now and you're just too busy, but this is intriguing, we also have a referral program where all you have to do is set up one call and let us do the presentation. And after that, you're out of the picture, but you'll still be compensated. So we've got flavors for all different kinds of folks out there. Let me address the big elephant in the room, right? Typically, when I lead with that presentation, Matt, I usually get two reactions. Number one, this sounds too good to be true.
Right.
Or number two, why haven't I heard about this? So the next two slides explain those two questions, right? Number one, this is true. This is a black letter IRS law that's been around since 2010. It was created by the Affordable Care Act. If you remember that law, it was really all about incentivizing employers to help employees make better health decisions. As we all know, most folks in America today, it's an unhealthy country. The medical system is broken. So the IRS, together with the politicians, created this law that basically said, we got to try to incentivize business owners to create healthier employees because the drain on our medical system is just so large. So these programs have been around actually for over a decade. The problem is a lot of them were clunky, meaning you had to track all the activity your employees were doing related to their health and wellness in order to qualify. And frankly, just not a lot of companies were doing that, right? So the people who created the Capstone program were actually out there, and for over a decade, they've been selling those programs. And they were working with different vendors, and they kept going back and saying, hey, look, can you just make this a little easier? This is too hard for an employer to do, or this is too hard for an employee to do. You guys may have heard programs where everybody had to wear a Fitbit, or they built a gym in the office, or you had to talk to a health coach once a week, every third Tuesday. They're very, very complex. So they just went out and said, you know what? We think we can build a better program. So they went out and did. Right now, they have over 300 businesses enrolled. Every month, we're enrolling anywhere from 25,000 on up employees. We've got some major brands. We can't really say. I can tell you some of the brands that we've brought in. Amazon's 25,000 delivery drivers. We have McDonald's, Jersey Mike's, Pizza Huts. Franchises are great for this. And then tons and tons of privately owned businesses ranging from 10 employees all the way to 250,000. And this program is funded entirely by legal tax savings. The internal revenue codes you can look up or Google are 105, 106, 125, and 213D. Now,
and so what that means is that's when you were saying earlier, like that all of this is at zero net cost to both the employer and the employee. So
exactly.
You're not selling anything. You're not taking payment from anybody. There are costs associated with the program, but everything is net because of the amount of savings that the company experiences as well as the employee. In fact, like you said earlier, the employee experiences a net increase in typically in every single paycheck as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's huge. And it's because it's funded by the tax savings.
Correct. And the other thing that a lot of people don't know, unless you're studying this, April the 3rd of 2024, the game changed because the IRS, the Employee Benefit Security Administration, Health and Human Services Department, released a tri-bureau ruling that basically said the extra money created by these programs can be used to defray non-medical expenses, for example, mortgage and rent. Up to this point, the extra money that was created was basically used to to give back to the employee in terms of voluntary benefits.
Right.
But with this ruling that very few people know about, you can now give the money back to the employee in the paycheck, which we'll show. So hopefully that answers that. And you know, Matt, this is one of my favorite slides because there's three things I missed in my life. Bitcoin at 100, Tesla IPO, and Apple IPO. I was for when Apple IPO'd, so I kind of give myself a pass on that one.
Right.
But I could have got in on Bitcoin and Tesla, but I didn't.
Right.
I'm glad I'm in on both of them now. I believe this Capstone program is within 12 months, everyone's going to be talking about it.
Yep.
I like being in a place where not a lot of people know, because imagine if you tried to get into ERC now, it's
Right.
like old news. Everybody
Right.
knows about it. And
Yep.
that's what's going to happen in the next 6 to 12 months. Everybody's going to know and have implemented Capstone. It's
Yep.
just a matter of who's going to tell them about it.
Exactly.
And so I think
this is the ground floor of ERC. Basically, you're repeating it, except like I said, it's so much more benefit. Well, ERC was beneficial, but this is an ongoing benefit for the business owner plus the monthly recurring revenue for you.
And you're actually doing good by the employees. Like in ERC, the employees didn't win.
Right.
That's why they got SETC, right? But here, the employer wins, the employees win. Really, everybody wins, including yourself.
100%.
So a couple of things important to know. I think we all saw this in ERC, right? There was a couple of companies that came out of nowhere, just out of ERC. Like ERC created tons of millionaires and deca millionaires. Why? Because it was such a great opportunity. And these companies were not known in 2019, and then they became known. Here, you've got a company that knows the insurance and the voluntary benefit space for over 50 years. So just so everybody knows the track record, Capstone Plus is a program. It's created by GP Agency. And GP Agency is a highly reputable national brokerage. They're nationally licensed. They've been doing business for 56 years. They got 40 employees out of North Carolina. They got over 4,000 agents and brokers nationwide, and they do the insurance back office for over 250,000 people. Now, that's really important because when you get into the nuances of this, you don't want to work with a company that doesn't understand insurance, that just jumping on this because of the April ruling, because there's a lot of IRS code to be compliant. You don't want to be liable walking into a company where you're bringing an opportunity that leverages the code. And if that company isn't compliant, you know what's going to happen is all your clients that you brought in, they're going to get audited and they're going to lose.
And a lot of that happened with a lot of ERC companies. I remember hearing a couple of horror stories about the ERC tax credit not being done properly, but you were going to make more commission or they could get you more money. And the business owners really paid the price for that.
Yeah. And what's worse is you pay the price with your reputation. You may not have gotten a slap on the wrist, but one, you're going to get your commissions clawed back. And number two, you don't have that relationship where you can go back and help people afterwards. So that's a really, really big deal.
So always do right by people. Because if you did ERC right, well, now you already have a list of people that you can go offer this to now. That's the benefit of actually doing right by people. And one question I wanted to ask on this slide really quick, Jeremiah, is we're talking about insurance here. Do people have to be licensed in order to offer this?
So you don't have to be licensed to get paid, as I mentioned earlier. For one version of the program, you have to be licensed to at least talk about it. And the other version, you don't have to be licensed. I have a slide and I'll talk to you guys about the differences. Gotcha. But either way, whether you're licensed or not licensed, there's a whole team that is standing by that will actually do all these presentations for you. So if you know how to book people to a calendar, you can do this.
Right. Love it.
All right, let's keep going. So basically, what is this program, right? What is the Capstone Health and Wellness Program? This is a Section 125 pre-tax plan, and it puts priority on preventative health and wellness. This does not disrupt or replace any medical or supplemental plan. This is really, really important because you're not going in and disrupting somebody else's business, right? Like most businesses you'll take this to, if they're under 50 employees, they probably don't even have a health plan. If they're over 50 employees, they probably have a benefit advisor or an insurance agent that sold them a group health plan. That's great. That's fantastic. This does not replace it. It bolts on top of it, and it can be implemented at any time of the year. You're not limited to open enrollment periods like traditional group health insurance plans. So I just want to point that out. You're really just enhancing the benefits they already have. Think of it like a bonus or a boost on top of whatever they have.
Right.
It's also at no net cost for the employee or employer. And more importantly, the focus is how do you keep people happy and healthy as long as possible before they even need to use the health insurance that they have in place. And that's really what this plan is about. It's predictive and preventative health maintenance. So in order to qualify per the tax code, you have to have 5 or more employees. They have to be W-2 and full-time. This does not work for 1099s. And as long as they're W-2 and they're averaging 30 hours a week, this program will work. And the owners of the company are not eligible because they're getting the FICA deduction. They can't double dip into the wellness benefit.
Right.
So we believe this program truly helps the challenges that most employees are facing today. That's why you're really going back and adding value, recruiting great people, retaining great people, and increasing revenue. So 2 quick studies that are third-party independent studies proving that these programs work. Number 1, the cost of inflation. Today, 2 out of 3 employees, they have to choose between a medical treatment, a prescription, or a non-medical bill like daycare, rent, mortgage, or student loans. And what that does over the last 6 years, from 2017 to 2022, the Kaiser Family Foundation proved that more and more people today say, I don't want to pay for benefits, I just want the money, because life is expensive.
Right.
And what that does is cause presenteeism. Presenteeism is when you're physically present, but you're mentally not there because you're stressed out, you're worried, you're anxious, you're depressed. And that causes companies billions of dollars a year. But what's very encouraging is that it's been statistically proven that if an employer would actually give extra benefits to employees, productivity goes up year over year. And if those benefits are subsidized, in this case, the tax code pays for the benefits, essentially, you're going to see a decrease in turnover year over year.
Right. So the company's saving a ton of money in annual FICA taxes, and it's also improving recruitment and retention, which is in and of itself its own benefit.
Exactly. Well said. So I'm going to walk you through now, Matt, the 4 primary wellness benefits that all employees get. The first one is the Amaze Health Services app. Now, this is a revolution in telemedicine. Most of us have heard of telehealth before. It's saved lives. It's a great kind of program. The difference here is that this is unlimited and there's no copay, which means there's no cost. So once this program is implemented, you can download the app. Press a button. Within 3 seconds, you're on with a nurse practitioner via video call if you prefer. And within 10 seconds, once they know what you need, you're on with a doctor practitioner. That's huge.
That's crazy.
What's more is that there'll be various kinds of doctors: virtual ER, primary, urgent, behavioral, dermatology. And all of this, as I mentioned, is unlimited, meaning you can call them unlimited. Anyone that lives in the same household as you can call unlimited, and you can stay on for as long as you want. But what if you don't need it for emergency? What if you're just trying to lose weight? You can call in and say, look, I need to lose 30 pounds. They'll help implement a program with a practitioner. If you want to help to stop smoking, there's smoking cessation programs built in. You place your call and they'll help work you through a program. They even have insurance support. So the other day was kind of interesting. They'll help navigate the claims that you're trying to make or not make. We had a contracting company. They had a guy who bought a new motorcycle. He got into an accident a day after he used Amaze. They had to send him a $200,000 hospital bill. He called Amaze, and Amaze got him out of it because there was errors, but nobody would have known. Wow. So Amaze is just a really powerful program.
It's
crazy. 80 different languages, 24/7 support. For those of you in Puerto Rico, this works in Puerto Rico. We're fully compliant with Puerto Rican law, where you're required to have Puerto Rican doctors and nurses. So we're fully compliant there. There's a built-in symptom checker in there, a wellness platform, a medical search engine. The screen is very simple. You can only do 2 things: call Amaze or send them a message. That's it. There's also built-in geofencing and smart triggers. This is really cool. If you have the feature turned on in your phone and you happen to go into the emergency room parking lot or an urgent care parking lot, you're going to get an alert from a doctor that says, would you rather talk to an ER doctor? And actually, we have a quick video, Matt, I think we should show.
Sure.
Hey, feeling all right?
Yeah, just hurts.
This is an actual reenactment of something that happened to Amaze. You can see he just drove into the hospital and he just got the alert.
Mr. Walker, I'm Dr. Johnson from Amaze. It looks like you're headed to the ER. Is everything okay?
Yeah, it's just my son. I think he broke his toe playing soccer, so we're stopping at the emergency room to get it taken care of.
I see. Would that be Brandon or Peter?
Brandon, my 15-year-old.
Would you mind if I talk to him directly for a moment?
No, not at all.
Hey, Brandon, what's going on?
It's like my dad said. I think I broke my toe. It hurts like a...
Brandon!
Hurts a lot. It's really swollen, too.
Okay, tell you what. Do you see the little camera icon at the bottom of your screen? That takes a picture and sends it directly over to me. So if you can, just take a quick picture of your toe and then hand the phone back to your dad, okay?
Sure.
So what do you think?
Sir, obviously I'm not there, so I don't know for sure what's going on, but it definitely looks like it could be broken. Here's what I can share with you. I work at the ER 3 days a week, and generally we wouldn't cast a broken toe like that. Usually we just tape it to the toe next to it for stability, and then have you go to the orthopedist the next week. Oh, by the way, do you know a good orthopedist, or do you want me to have somebody call you first thing Monday and help you find one?
Well, I can call our doctor, but yeah, give me a call. That would be helpful.
Well, while we've been talking, I've taken a look at where you are, and I see that there's an urgent care about 1.5 miles to your south, just down Main Street. And it says here they're open until 8 p.m. and that they have an x-ray machine. They won't likely do anything more for the broken toe, but if you'd feel better confirming that it's broken, that's another option you have. Okay, so Mr. Walker, why don't I summarize your options for you? First, you can head into the ER. No harm, no foul. It's purely up to you. I can't tell you exactly what it'll cost because you never know how they'll code things, but looks like it'll be between $1,000 and $2,000. And you could go to the urgent care on Main. For your insurance plan, they charge $160 plus $80 for the x-ray. Or you can just go to the orthopedist next week. They usually have x-ray machines in the office.
Well, okay.
Sir, is there anything else I can help you with?
No, I appreciate your advice. Thanks, Doc.
It's good
So
stuff.
that was a really quick example of this person here. Now they saved thousands of, potentially over $1,000 for going to the emergency room, and they got better quality care, and they did it in just a few minutes.
Right. And that was a reenactment, obviously, but that was a true case study, right?
Yeah, that was a true case study, and it was an actor reenactment.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That is
So
awesome.
as you saw, it's fast and friction free. This is what the phone looks like, right? This is what the screenshot looks like when you're using it. There's no triage, no intake, no waiting room. Everything's immediate. The other thing that's really neat built in is the biometric facial scan technology. So this is relatively new. You hold it up to your face for 30 seconds, and then within 99% accuracy, you'll get 15 biomarkers showing you your blood pressure, heart rate, respiratory rate, mental stress, also your risk of cardiovascular disease, stroke, heart attack. This is a real story I'm going to tell you. I don't have a video on it, but there was somebody the other day who was messing around with the app and did the biometric facial scan. They came back with way elevated rates and risk of a heart attack. He got a call within 5 minutes from a doctor at Amaze. And basically, within 24 hours, they got him in to see a cardiologist and got him on a drug medication in order to lower. But that right there not only saved possibly the man's life, could have prevented a heart attack, but also saved the employer anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 had he had a heart attack. All the costs involved, not only to the family, but to the employer.
Wow, that's crazy.
The other benefit is the RX Valet acute medication program. So this is where they'll get 37 commonly prescribed drugs at no charge, redeemable at 70,000 retail pharmacies in the US, or redeemable at CVS and Walgreens. They get discounts for drugs not on the formulary and prescription assistance for medication over $200. And this does not impact their current medical claims. And then finally, there's an indemnity plan, which basically means if you have to be hospitalized for a day, you're going to get up to $1,000 cash back. Daily confinement in a hospital, 30 days at $100 a day, and an ambulance benefit 1 day at $250. And we do have different programs. There's 6 different levels of this based on how much the person earns. So usually within a company, even if there's a company and relatively small wage earners, we typically have a program that's available for them. The amounts just change a little bit here.
Gotcha.
So let's
Pretty
talk
awesome
about
benefits for the employees. That's good stuff.
Yeah. So those are the 4 benefits. All employees get whatever I just shared, all included at no net cost. So here's basically an example of how this works on the paycheck. You've got your monthly income on a standard paycheck, right? We're going to look at the before. This is how most paychecks look today. You've got the before, $4,200. You've got deductions of health insurance and 401k. And then you have your taxable income, right? The taxable income is what all of the withholdings are based on, federal, state, Social Security, and Medicare. And then you have your net pay down below. Once we implement Capstone, the paycheck looks like this. You've got your monthly income, you've got your deductions, then you have a Capstone Section 125 premium deduction. If they already have a Section 125 plan, awesome, this fits right in. If they don't, awesome, it fits right in. Either way, doesn't matter. $1,200 is the actuarial value of all of those programs. If you take the Amaze app, the education, the emails that go out to the employees that are written by physicians that provide valuable wellness knowledge, the whole value is $1,200. So we insert that as a deduction. The taxable income goes down to $2,455. So you see the difference, $3,655 down to $2,455. Now, remember, the withholdings are all based on this taxable amount. So since we have a lower taxable amount, all the money goes down. This is where the savings to the employer goes. And then what we do is we insert a claim payment of 1010. That claim payment is for the use of the wellness programs that are embedded in the Amaze app. And you can Google them. There's IRS wellness CPT codes. We use 17 different CPT codes, which make it compliant by law. The claim payment is the same every month, whether they use the app or not, because the education is being provided. And when you put the money right back into there, you can see that the participant gets an increase of $85.82 in net take-home pay.
That's awesome.
So here's how it works for the savings for the employer, right? On average per year, they're going to save about $963. Now, we have an admin fee of $40 per employee per month that participates. And we usually see about a 93, 94% participation is our mathematical median, which means there's a $480 cost to the employer. But even with our cost, you take the 963, deduct the 480, which is our fee and how we all get paid.
Yep.
Per year, they're still going to come out ahead, $483 in savings per employee per year.
Per employee, guys. So again, if you enroll somebody with 1,000 employees, you're adding an incredible amount of money back to the business's bottom line. That's just insane. Yeah,
I got a couple of examples here. So 25 people in a firm that are W-2, they're going to save $12,000. 50 employees are going to save $25,000 roughly. 100 employees, $48,000. 500 employees, $241,000. That's practically $250,000. 1,000 employees, almost $500,000 in savings, and 5,000 employees is going to save them $2.4 million. So you can see why this program is taking off. Not only the savings this gives employers, but imagine the commissions being earned at these different levels, right? An extra 1,000 a month. Who doesn't want an extra 1,000 a month? An extra 5,000 a month, an extra 10,000 a month. This would be an extra 50,000 a month. And we have people from all walks of life, Matt, that have no insurance background, that have this relational capital, meaning they have these relationships with these kinds of companies that they never knew how to monetize. They didn't know how to serve them, and they didn't know how to get in the door because maybe they only did one thing and now they're done with their services, right? So you'd be amazed at the type of stories I'm hearing. I have one guy who's never spent a day in the world of insurance. He's probably got 100,000 lives in pipeline that will come under him in less than a year. His first deal was a text message he sent to a friend. He just goes, he knew his friend had 2,200 employees. He says, "Hey, buddy, I got a way to save you about 1.2 million this year. Won't cost you a dime. You up for a Zoom call?" That was his pitch. Like that was literally his pitch. So imagine that. That's going to be about 20,000 a month residual for him every single month.
That's crazy. It's similar. It's very similar to ERC, where selling ERC was a very simple question. It was, have you filed for your ERC tax credit yet? So yes or no question. And then you take them down the journey if they haven't. There's different ways to approach this as part of the training and resources that you get access to once you come on board. But you don't have to overcomplicate it as far as introducing this to business owners, especially if you already have a list of business owners that you've worked with.
Yeah. We can take your angle and twist it a bit. Have you filed for your federal wellness tax credit yet?
Right.
Because it is a federal program and it is related to wellness. So you could just use the same line if you used that before.
And they are tax incentives. That's exactly what this is.
Yeah. So this is an example of a pro forma. Now we have a quick quote form, which is really helpful. You can actually just bring this up. It's an Excel sheet while you're on a call, or the people from Capstone will do this for you. You just pop in the number of employees. Like in this case, it's 127. This is actually a real case we did. We just redacted all the personal info. They're going to save $78,000 a year, which means every pay period, right? Every pay period, they're going to save $1,500. So every time they run payroll, they're now saving $1,500 because you don't wait for a check in this deal. You don't have to apply for it. It's basically because you're using the tax code appropriately, you don't have to pay that much FICA anymore because you got the FICA tax credit.
Right.
So the average employee in this company is going to earn an extra $1,600. And then the average savings per employee per year for this company was actually higher. It was $615.22. Now, we like to say an average of $500 savings because you're going to cover pretty much 100% of the companies. But once we do a full pro forma, we can get down to 100% accuracy on what those savings would be.
It's also one of the reasons this gets really sticky. This is a very sticky product because especially if the employees are seeing that net increase in pay, but also once they start using the app and they see the actual benefits, like how much money that saves them, not having to go to the emergency room or whatever it might be, it now becomes a very sticky product at that point. And also, correct me if I'm wrong, Jeremiah, but once this is implemented in the company, people are automatically enrolled. They have to give notice if they don't want to be a part of it, right?
Yeah, this is called opt-out program, meaning everybody is automatically opted in. And this is a good point. So previous programs were really hard to implement because they made the employees do all these things. Most of them don't want to do it.
Right.
This has a 93% enrollment because the only two requirements is one, you download the Amaze app. Number two is you provide a valid email address to get the physician written newsletter that goes out once a week. If you do those two things, you qualify. You don't have to click on the newsletter. You don't have to open it. You don't have to click a box. You don't even have to use the app if you don't want, but you qualify. What we do see is after year 2, we see typically a 34% engagement in the Amaze app, which means people use it and they like it. Considering the standard engagement on any program is about 3 to 4% for these wellness programs, it's 10 times better.
That's pretty massive. Love it.
So here's the process, right? So what does the implementation look like? We get a census template, which is you get access to that in the training. Basically, it's the data that's needed in order to give an accurate proposal. Once the proposal is accepted, there's a document they'll sign called the RFC, Request for Coverage. We'll teach you how to have them sign that, or we'll help you do it with you. Then Capstone will handle all the enrollment, right? They'll do it in person or virtually, whatever they prefer. Lead time is about 30 to 45 days to implementation. If it's a larger company, over 500 employees, we typically like to do an API integration straight into their payroll, which means that there won't be any negative savings, right? As employees come on and come off the company payroll, you don't want your clients to have a negative savings where they're taking the deduction for employees that left. So with that API, it keeps it really clean. And from there, it's about a 15-minute report that HR has to run every month. It's very low lift. And then they start to see the savings. And then you, as the representative who brought the program, you'll get sent your money via ACH typically every month, residual for the life of the program. And what's nice about this program, Matt, they don't have to renew. It's not like, do you want to do this every year? Right. It's once it's in there, it's in there. And all of this is administered through a TPA or a third-party administrator, which keeps track of all the record keeping. And that's another thing you want to make sure of when you work on a program like this. Make sure you've got all of your records being kept by an authoritative third party. Our TPA is the TPA for the state of Virginia. So you can imagine the amount of due diligence done. It's one of the oldest and most reputable TPAs in the country. The other thing I'll mention too is we're the only program in the country that protects your clients from these savings. So let's say, for example, you go out there and you implement a program like this, but not with Capstone, and your client is audited 3 years from now for taking, let's say, $500,000 a year in FICA. So that's 3 years in FICA. The IRS says, no, you didn't do this right. The company that did it didn't do it right. Now they're on the line, right? You don't want to come back and be liable. They don't want to be liable. So that's how we got our biggest deal, actually. We have a triple indemnity insurance policy that protects the employers, whether you're 10 employees or 10,000 employees, no matter how big you are, we will cover the savings, which means you're protected from IRS penalties, clawbacks, and any legal fees you incur to defend your right to use this program.
Right.
Nobody else has that.
Right. So if they were to get audited, something went down, maybe they didn't follow it correctly, so whatever happens, Capstone covers the costs of all of that.
That's correct. With an insurance carrier that's an A-rated carrier and an insurance policy against those three things.
Right. It's awesome.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
very there's no risk. I guess like if people were to ask,
No.
like, what are the things that can go wrong here? There's really not, because you guys are Capstone is very, very obviously they have compliance down to a science, number
Mhm.
one. And number two, you have the triple indemnity agreement. So even if something does go wrong, they cover it.
Exactly right. So I want to give you guys a couple of strategies and then we'll talk about comp and training. Start making lists of business owners, over 50 employees. The only reason I say over 50 is you're going to work just as hard for companies under 50 as you will over 50.
Sure.
But we have no problem taking deals that are under 50. I'm just thinking, start making a list, right? If you've got, like Matt, super brilliant at the beginning talking about ERC. If you know people who have done ERC or you've done it yourself, we've got some of the biggest ERC groups in the country now with Capstone. If you know people that already sell group benefits into businesses, you want to bring this program to them and partner up with them and share the revenue. If you know CPAs, we have one of the largest CPAs in the state of Massachusetts. They have over 100 employees. They're bringing 1 million lives into this. CPAs are always looking for new revenue streams because they're typically only paid once a year.
Right.
Tax time, right?
Right.
A few of them get residual payments through monthly bookkeeping, but they really have run out of things to sell or offer clients, and they love this program. If you know anybody that sells voluntary benefits, like Aflac people who sell life and annuities, and also, interestingly enough, school districts. We have some amazing case studies of school districts that have done extremely well in this program because our poor teachers are so underpaid. They're always looking for ways to give teachers more money, but also cut costs.
Right.
So those are really good.
I think
right,
also on another training you mentioned targeting nonprofit groups as well, right? Because they're always looking to raise funds. But there was something you mentioned about bringing the board members of these, like, because they're typically business owners as well, the board members of these nonprofits. So you save the nonprofit an incredible amount of money, but that's also another revenue stream for the nonprofit itself as well.
Yeah, we have a 2-tier comp plan, which means that you can also bring in partnerships, right? So this nonprofit they have 300 employees. So right there, they're going to save tens of thousands a year, but their board members are all CEOs of companies with thousands of employees.
Right.
So what they're doing is they're going to have Capstone implemented by their board members, and the board members are going to save, millions of dollars in FICA. The employees are going to get a raise in their paycheck plus wellness benefits. And then we signed the nonprofit up as a Capstone representative. Right. So they're going to earn a monthly residual income from their board members, which really helps take the burden of fundraising off of them. Not all fundraising is taken off, but a lot of it. And that one nonprofit I'm thinking about is probably going to make an extra $30,000 a month residual, which is going to do so much good for the community.
Absolutely. I love that. I think it's a phenomenal strategy.
So moving forward here, let's talk about compensation, right? So I want to be clear. In order for you this is the max compensation you can get. So $10 per employee that participates per month. And again, we have about 93% participation up to 5,000 lives. So that means from life 1 to 5,000, you get paid $10. Now, once you cross 5,001, you're going to make $15 per employee per month up to 10,000. And then after 10,001, all those lives after that are $20 per employee per month. Now, the good news is this is aggregate. So if it takes you 10 companies at 500 people per company to get to this level, great. If it takes you one deal, you got a buddy you went to school with, and he's now the CEO or the CFO of a 5,001 size company, well, perfect. You already broke the barrier right there, right? Now, very important, to qualify for this level, you got to be willing to do work. You have to take the prospect from beginning to close to implementation with the Capstone team. It doesn't mean you have to know how to do everything. Right. It means you're willing to herd the cats and get the right people on the calls. It's usually about a 4 to 8 hour process between start to finish, from presentation to from presentation to implementation. You have to do that work. If you're willing to do that work, well, then you should be rewarded for that. Right. But we also know there's people who would like to get started but need a little help. So let's talk a little bit about mentorship. We have one of our teams is the #1 closing team in all of Capstone. They close 93% of the deals that are put in front of them. Now, they are willing to do the presentation for you until you feel confident. Now, these guys are on pace to put on 100,000 lives by January 1st, 2025, or 100,000 employees, right? They're the guys that actually got the Amazon account. From
Wow.
presentation to close, they usually get it within 1 week, where most people take 7 weeks. So you're accelerating your growth, and you share the revenue with them 50-50 on the deals they help you close. And of course, you can cancel anytime. So there's no cost for this. But a lot of people came to me asking, man, I really want to learn how to do this, but there's just so many people. I didn't have time. So I asked, this guy, his name is Daryl. He's a fantastic, and he's licensed, so he can sell everything. And he's willing to share the commission with you. So let's say you do 2 or 3 deals with Daryl, and after that, you're completely confident. You're off on your own. You just share revenue with the deals you did with Daryl, and then after that, you're off on your own. But we also have a referral program. This is perfect for people who are just too busy, right? You're too busy to take on something else, but you got business owner connections. You got relational capital you want to leverage. So basically, Daryl's team will handle everything from the first presentation. You just got to show up, make sure you come to the first call, make the introduction,
Right.
and then they'll take over everything. They have a Go High Level business account. You can log in, you can see your progress on all your deals 24/7, and then just wait for when the deal goes through. You can wait for your payment, and that's $2.50 per employee per month back to you.
Nice.
And then finally, there's a program where we don't do any mentorship with you. You're kind of a go-getter. You can earn all of this right here. And the Capstone team will do all the presentation for you, but they won't be mentoring you through the process. You're going to be basically there to kind of figuring out on your own, which, by the way, a lot of people did. That's what I did. I just used the Capstone team.
Right.
I didn't have a mentor, and I'm doing really well.
Nice.
Okay, so I think we discussed that. Now, let me discuss the licensing thing, and then we'll wrap up. So there's 2 programs. There's Capstone Choice and Capstone Plus. Now, I just gave you an overview of Capstone Plus. Capstone Choice is almost identical. The only difference is that extra money that's in the paycheck, instead of it going to the employee as cash, it goes into what's called a benefit reserve, or think of it as a bucket of money that can be used to give the employee even more benefits like long-term care, critical illness, disability, and so forth. Now, that program, you do not need to be licensed. But the Capstone team is fully trained. You have what's called market directors that will do all these presentations, and they'll know which one to present on your behalf. Capstone Plus, where they give the extra funds to the employees, you have to have a minimal accident and health insurance license required for that. And that's it. And those are really the insurance licenses. So let's do a quick recap. Capstone, whatever method you want to come in, you want to keep all the commission and learn how to do it yourself? No problem. Capstone has a done-for-you presentation. You can literally book a call on one of 15 different market directors' calendars. They'll show up. You just make the intro. Capstone does the presentation. They'll do the data extraction, the proposals, the presentation, and the enrollment. And you are shepherding the client from presentation to enrollment. You got to be present for the meetings. You want to make sure that everybody shows up and so forth.
Right.
So why don't we do this, Matt? Here's basically how to get started. Matt, I think that you have a link you're going to put in if people want to get started to get enrolled.
Yep.
And that's basically step 2. You're going to get enrolled. There's no cost to it. You sign up with the link. And then after that, you're going to get an NDA. Make sure you sign the NDA. It's going to come to you through PandaDoc. If you don't sign the NDA, you're not going to ever see anything. And basically, it's a mutual NDA. If you've got other clients, and we know you're bringing them into the Capstone community, we want you to know that those are your clients, right? We're not going to try to sell them anything else.
Right.
So it's a mutual NDA. We also, the NDA is you can't disclose any of the information you're going to learn while you're inside Capstone. Obviously, what we're doing is extremely sensitive in terms of intellectual property.
Right.
And then we have a quick start training that Matt can get to you. And then you can choose your mentorship method, right? You can choose to go it alone. You can choose to be mentored, or you can choose to just send referrals. Either way is fine, and you can be compensated on all. And Matt, that's really the Capstone program.
It's awesome, man. Really appreciate it. Heck of an opportunity. It's so in alignment with my own values and principles as well, because, I really want to, I love the concept of really bringing value to business owners, especially as we record this, I mean, times are pretty tough for a lot of people. You know, interest rates are really high, inflation's really high, all that stuff. So if we could bring a program to a company that's going to put tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars per year back into their bottom line, sign me up, man. That is just freaking awesome. Not to mention, you're going to make really, really good money. It is the ultimate win-win-win situation here. So yeah, that's awesome stuff. Really, really appreciate your time, Jeremiah. Guys, I'm going to do some additional training on, you know, like marketing and, you know, the different resources that we get access to and all that stuff. But I just wanted to do a full in-depth training on how this program works, the benefit that it brings to businesses, and the massive, massive opportunity that it provides to us. So I hope that was helpful, guys. Check out all the links in the description if you want to have a conversation about this first. I'll have my calendar down there, or if you're just ready to jump in, get started with training, I'll have a link to that as well. It's totally up to you. But again, Jeremiah, really, really appreciate your time. Can't wait to see what this turns into, man.
Thanks so much for having me, Matt.
Yeah, man. Take care. We'll talk soon.